worth and how much is our pleasures worth. And obviously, I think most of our pleasures are just made out of desire, and I think the desire is made out of deprivation. So yeah, it's all zeros. To me, it's all negative numbers, and it's a zero-sum game, and there's just no way to win it. All you do is clean up the red numbers.
Yeah, we kind of disagree here. I mean, not kind of, but I think, pleasure is important as well. Even if, I mean, if there would be no suffering to my rationalization, there wouldn't be a sum zero game, because there are degrees of pleasure. There are the pleasure of eating some ice cream to the pleasure of having an orgasm. And you were saying, I was thinking about it. You were saying, and this guy has his mic opened. And he's typing, which is lovely. Dude! Mute your mic. And the one. Mute your mic. Okay. You were saying that, what is the harm in, for instance, euthanizing a healthy animal, a healthy young pet, for instance. And you were saying, that is just like this mental, social something construct that we have, that is actually nothing wrong with it, because, what's the point in it living? He doesn't have, a complex consciousness. But the thing is, it depends what kind of pet it is. Because if it is a cat that stays at home and has food at its will, and she plays, she has this good experience. For me, this counts. So putting it to sleep would deprive her of some pleasure that, to me, it's not irrelevant to the whole equation.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, pleasure, you're making the argument that you liked eating something. Well, why do you like eating it? It's because it satisfies a deprivation, okay? So what's created inside of you is a displeasure first. So that's still going to be my argument, that basically the needle is put in your eye, and then through life you can pull the needle out, and you'll start feeling good when you're pulling that needle out. But you never pull the needle all the way out, so you're just under the delusion that you're gaining something because you have less needle in your eye. But that's the way nature is insidiously using our own sentience against us. It's giving us the illusion that we're gaining because we're not drowning under as much water as we thought. We think we're gaining, when all we're doing is getting back to zero. We're getting back to some state where we're not deprivated, where we're not uncomfortable, and that's how nature's made us. It's made us to be uncomfortable and to have the illusion that this bullshit is what will make us comfortable, and what will make us comfortable is no longer going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this is how it's made to function. The deprivation is desire is caused by deprivation, but our brains have evolved so much that we can have all those degrees and all this complexity. I mean, it's one thing to be hungry and eat bread, and it's another thing to be hungry and eat something and then, have a chocolate cake that is awesome, that you didn't think that kind of taste can exist, because we can have levels of appreciation for tastes and smells and all this kind of thing that for me doesn't reduce it to zero. It's more than we are asking for. We are just asking for, satisfaction of the hunger. We are not asking for such intensity in experience. And I know it's for keeping us alive, and it's for, but still, to me, it is important. I mean, it doesn't count for shit. Takes it all back to zero.
Well, you're saying it doesn't count for shit, but I'm just saying that maybe it does count for shit. I mean, if it's erasing a red number, it's not a positive. It might look like one mathematically to our brains. I mean, yes. I mean, it's less negative, which is a positive. But that's still a contrivance. You're still making it out of nothing. I mean, like I said, we can look at a heroin addict and we can see the exact math you're talking about. He gets off, okay? He has this chocolate cake experience, all right? But we know that's just his delusion, that he's not winning the game. He's losing the game. All right, overall. And I'm just going to argue that that you only derive the pleasure because you know what the pain is. If I give you a broken leg, it'll feel good if I unbreak it instantly. If I snap my fingers and unbreak it, for that instant, when that pain is pulled away from you, you'll have this great feeling. For 5 minutes, you'll feel really great because you have this huge burden eliminated. But 5 minutes is how long it's going to last. And then in 5 minutes, you're going to start saying, oh, but my back is a little stiff. Or, God damn it, I want some, Fritos. You'll be wanting something again. So that feeling of euphoria, of relief, of doneness isn't going to last. And so that sort of gives us evidence that it is an illusion in our brain created by desire, an addiction, and that we really are in a steady state of shit, and we just don't know it because we've always been in it. We've always had the needle in our eye. We don't even know what it is to be alive with a needle not in our eye.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Anything that's... Oh, God.
Look, every time you start talking, somebody shows up.
Yeah. It's fate. Yeah. You are sometimes giving the example with the, planet suffering, planet pain or whatever, and planet orgasm. You have on one planet all these, sentient creatures who live with needles in their fucking eyes and, in their legs and so on. And on the other planet, there is only pleasure. So when you give this example, I think you are acknowledging that, if there would be only pleasure, then life would be, it would be worth it. It would be worth it to have such a planet. I think the problem is that, if we can reach or even, if we can hope to get to any kind of degree of eliminating suffering, and getting to at least have more pleasure than suffering.
But again, that's not what I'm arguing. I'm arguing about the negative first, being a parent, but the purpose of the pleasure is that's still the neutral. Like the orgasm might be what neutrality feels like. That's we don't know the bliss of being unencumbered. Is I guess my argument. We have been born with the encumbrance, so all we know is encumbrance, and it's through eliminating encumbrance that we derive pleasure. So if all our pleasure is truly derived out of just breaking free of an encumbrance that's always existed in us from the moment we were born, that's still a zero-sum game. And I still would argue that if you just created something out of nothing, just created an organism, I just don't know what context it would have that you could create perpetual pleasure in it. You know what I'm saying? Because then it would be addicted to that state. So if you had like half of an orgasm, and that's how you were born, in just half orgasm state, perpetual half orgasm state, you'd still have that full orgasm state sitting out there saying, well, I could feel better than this. And so maybe half orgasm would feel like shit if you had full orgasm to compare it to. I'm just saying it's all how our brain makes these comparisons, and I'm just saying we're under a delusion created by 2 billion years of evolution. It's not, we can't judge the scales because we've been built to imbalance them, to cheat. That's what desires, that's the whole point of the addiction and the desires, to cheat the scales, to make us do things that are stupid.
I think where people have a lot of problem with the philosophy is that if we have these three states of suffering, neutrality, and awesomeness or positivity, and we say that positivity is actually equal to neutral because it's a constant state, and whether it's constant orgasm or constant feeling of zen, it's the same, and how do you even know if the orgasm is not just a release of all suffering? It's still, you're equivocating neutral zen to constant orgasm as being indistinguishable, but when it comes to distinguishing between neutral and suffering, there's a big distinction there. It's one's bad and one's okay. So we're not seeing the upside, we're only seeing the downside, but most people, whether there is